All right, let's go ahead and get started, you guys. So, if you are brand new, welcome to the team. My name is Shelby Sutton, and I am your presidential upline, one of your leaders, mini leaders, and we're just so excited to have you as part of the team tonight. We are, and hello to everybody else too. Like I said, I'm so happy to see you guys, and it kind of feels like it's been forever, even though it hasn't been that long. Um, Tonight we're going to do something kind of fun because I wanted to make sure that we were really giving you guys some like true value tonight. Some just, I mean, I feel like we always give you value, but I wanted to know what it was that you guys really needed. And so I went to some of our diamond and above leaders and asked them what they thought their downlines may need right now. And so many of them were saying the same thing. And it was basically just people feeling discouraged for many different reasons. But the biggest thing that I was seeing is people were feeling discouraged, and we're truly wondering how to stay motivated during hard times and maybe even during change too. And I can't think, I mean, there's so much going on in the world right now, just so much, you guys. And I pray for everyone that's going through it right now, because I know probably like 99.9% of us are, but that's just life, right? But we really have a curveball right now with just the way that 2020 is going. But um I feel like there's never been harder times than there is right now, with the fact that coronavirus is going on, so many natural disasters all over the US and even all over the world that I know so many of us are personally affected by right now. So it's just, there's a lot going on. And then beyond that, there's the life things too. So just changes. I know so many of us on this team are teachers, and teachers are really in a whirlwind right now of, you know they don't even know what they're doing. Like, they're trying to figure something out new. And so many of us are mamas as well, and trying to figure out how to homeschool our kids, or is sending them back the right decision. Like, there's just so much going on right now, so many things that can be weighing on us, um, emotionally, but also even, physically. People are getting sick. There's just so much going on, right? And so I think that this year has just been a weird one, as far as, we already wear 108 hats, and then we join this business to for whatever reason. Like, we all have a different why of why we joined this business, which means we added on a 109th hat. Like, okay, I'm gonna add this on, and I'm gonna juggle it. And then 2020 came, and we just had all this new stuff piled on, right? um you know Other things in 2020 that are blessings that have come along, but it's still change. People having babies, people getting a new job, things that people have prayed for, but it's still new, and it's still more, and it's still things that we're having to learn how to juggle. So hopefully this is all making sense. I know that if I told you guys, you don't even have to, but if I said drop a one in the chats if something new, maybe it's good, maybe it's bad, maybe you prayed for it, maybe you didn't, something new is happening in your life right now, every single one of us would drop a one, because that's what life is. Things are always changing, and we as business owners need to figure out how to juggle that, because we can't put our businesses to the side. When you decide to slow down in your business and put your business to the side, you're doing yourself a huge disservice, for many reasons. But one reason that just popped into my head, so like right off the top, is everyone would have put a 1 in the chats, right? And we're not the only ones. It's not like we're this special team where like all the crazy is happening to us. It's happening to everybody, which means there's people out there that are struggling more than they were last year, more than they were 6 months ago. They're going through all these same things too, right? And so we actually are able to be that life raft. We're able to give people hope that weren't able to have that hope before. And so when we put it's actually selfish of us to put our business to the side, because there's people out there who need this so desperately. And the second we stop posting, maybe they've been watching us and they've been watching us post and they didn't have the courage to reach out. And maybe they were just about to get their courage up and then they saw that you haven't posted in 2 weeks. And that's just the type of thing where it's like, you know, you never know who's watching you. And the second that you decide like, this is too much, I'm wearing too many hats and this is the thing that's going to go, not only are you hurting yourself, but you could be hurting others too. I mean, you know what I mean? I hate to say hurting others because you're not, but like you could potentially be what saves somebody else's life. But when you put it to the side, they're not going to see you post anymore. They're not going to get that message from you or whatever way that you may have originally reached out. So, today we just wanted to talk to you guys about, or tonight, whatever time it is, I don't know. We wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about some ways that you can just keep going, keep pushing through, because it's hard to stay motivated and it's hard to keep doing the things when you have all these pressures of the world, pressures of life, changes, all the things happening. It is. And I've been in this business for 6 years now. And I can tell you guys that it just hasn't been like rainbows and butterflies every single day for the last 6 years, not in my personal life and not in my business. Sometimes neither of those things at the same time. So like business was in a valley, life was in a valley. And I think that happens more often than not. So it's just so important that one, you just make a decision that you have to keep going, not just for yourself, but for your why, whatever your why is. If you guys don't know what a why is, or maybe you do and you had a why, but it's gone away or it's drifted or it's changed or whatever, you need to get so crystal clear on your why, you guys, that just thinking about it shakes you to the core. Just thinking about it brings you to tears or makes you emotional, just knowing what that is, because that's what's going to get you up in the morning. That's what's going to get you up a little bit earlier to make sure you get those messages out or whatever it is. You need to be crystal clear on what that is, because that's like the big, there's so much stuff that I'm going to share. I know that Rochelle has a bunch of stuff and Ashley has a bunch of stuff too. But the number one main thing, and it seems so obvious or so even like cliche, I think, in like network marketing and just, I think business in general, but you have to have a why, and it has to be so strong that it shakes you to your core, because that's what's going to keep you going. If your why is the baby that you're holding in your arms, and the reason I say that is because I'm literally staring at like 16 babies' faces right now. But if your baby or your kids is what keeps you going, then how dare you give up on them because it's hard right now, because you're dealing with stuff in your life or in your business right now. You're going to give up on them. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. You'd never be able to look them in the eyes and say, babe, I can't, I'm going to just quit on you right now. You wouldn't do it. You'd keep going. And that's the same for your business, because in the long run, your business is going to get you to where you want to be, as long as you're being consistent and as long as you're, staying the course, that you're going to see the why happen. Okay. So make sure you're so crystal clear on that. So I just kind of wrote down a couple of, almost like basic tips. So I'm just going to go, I just kind of was brainstorming, like, what are the things that get me through a situation like this? Because I'm going through it too, you guys. Like I said, it's not always rainbows and butterflies. And right now, personally, if I can be just so transparent with you guys, because we like to be like that for you guys, so that you see like it's not perfect over here and it's never going to be. So for me, I my business is, it kind of just feels like it's this. It's not bad, but it's not great either. I'm just going on this road and like maybe there's a few little bumps, maybe there's a speed bump or whatever, but it's just kind of like meh. And I'm doing my best to stay very consistent, and I feel like I am being consistent mostly. But I'm not doing more, so I'm not seeing more. And I don't mean that, because I actually had a conversation with somebody today where I was like, you know what, I feel like I'm doing all the things, and help me stay focused here, because this is going to get me off track a little bit, but I don't want to get too far off track. But I was telling somebody today, I'm doing the things, but my paycheck is staying the same. Like, oh, boo-hoo, Shelby, like your presidential paycheck is the same as it was last month and the month before. But you guys, that's not my goal. My goal is for my paycheck to be growing. My goal is for my team to be growing. My goal is to be more. It's more, you guys. And I think that's the same for all of us, right? Like, no one wants to stay the same. We want to be growing. We want growth. And so one of the things that I said to her is, and we've said it these last few weeks, we've said it many times, work smarter, not harder. And so when I say, what can I be doing more? I don't even mean like, how can I be working harder? Because I am doing my KPIs. I am doing my steps to success twice every month. But like, what can I be doing? And I think a huge part of that too is realizing that I am doing all the things, and then completely giving up control and giving it to God, and trusting that if I put in the work, God's going to take it and he's going to multiply that. Because I really can't. I mean, there's always more I could be doing. Like, did I message 50 people yesterday, or did I message 100? I don't remember, but like, of course I could message 200. But the point is that I'm being consistent with the things. And so now I just need to release the control part of it and trust that God's going to multiply. He's going to multiply that. Because, you know, as long as you can say to yourself, I did all the things, I'm showing up for my team too, and I'm showing them that I'm doing all the things, so that they can all, because when they see you do it, they're going to do it. Most of them, many of them. So I'm doing them. I'm showing my team that I'm doing them. I'm trying to teach, I'm teaching, and you can only do so much before you bring yourself out. So I'm trying to cut myself off there. Like, I'm doing it all. So now I need to give up control and trust that God's going to do the rest. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. So back to just my list of the basic things that you can be doing during these hard times, during these changes, during the situations going on in your life. So one thing is, and this is so important, you guys, it's giving yourself a little bit of grace and understanding and accepting the fact that the world's whack right now. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. And so you have to give yourself that grace. Like, if you haven't been the best you can be with your business or personally the last, however, maybe it's been a few weeks, maybe September has sucked, maybe it's been the last couple of months, maybe it's been the last 90 days, like whatever, it's not too late for a fresh start. Give yourself a little bit of grace, knowing that like the world has been nuts, but then make a decision to move forward and do things differently. Like, if you haven't been seeing results, you guys, if you haven't signed any loyal customers yet this month, if you haven't signed any distributors yet this month, give yourself grace, but then take a look at yourself in the mirror and figure out what it is that you haven't been doing. Because if you haven't signed, then you haven't been doing. You haven't been doing any of the things that you need to do. Like, just being a little bit blunt right there. And if you're like the 0.01% that has been doing all the things this month but hasn't signed anybody from that, then reach out to your enroller, because there's probably just a little tweak that needs to be made in your conversation, or something like that. But for the most part, if you haven't signed anybody yet, it's because you haven't been doing the things consistently. You can't post on the 1st of September and message 3 people on the 5th of September and post one more time on the 7th and then be mad and come to me on the 15th that you haven't signed anybody yet, because that's not how you enroll. This is not how you complete your steps of success. It's definitely not how you complete them multiple times, which we do on this team. So give yourself grace, but then take a look in the mirror. What are you not doing? Okay. And then the next thing is just really, 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 well, before I get to that, there's 2 other things I want to say. Self-development. Enrollments are, I know for me personally, that enrollments are always like pretty directly aligned with self-development. If I'm not doing my self-development every freaking day, every day, then I'm not enrolling every day. And it's quite obvious and quite annoying actually when I go a few days and haven't enrolled and I'm like, what the heck? You know, Susie Q told me she's going to call me with her credit card number and so-and-so was going to join my team, or this person, my new teammate's leaving me on red, like what the heck? And then I'm like, oh yeah, I haven't grown myself or made myself better or filled my cup in 3 days. No wonder. It's directly related, you guys. If you aren't doing your self-development, you aren't enrolling. You have to be growing your mind always, always, always. And I know that we could literally, I don't know what time it is, but we could preach on this for the whole rest of the time. Self-development is so important, you guys. If you do not have a book, if you do not know what self-development is, if you just need a suggestion for a book or a podcast or anything, reach out to me, to Rochelle, to Ashley, to Shauna, to Summer, to go look on the team page. Like literally, you guys, do not go another day without a book in your hands or in your ears, however you like to read or listen. But you have to be doing the self-development, okay? So if you do not have a book, don't be embarrassed about it. Reach out to us and let us know ask us for a recommendation. If you don't have money for a book right now, reach out to us. We have recommendations for you. There are free books out there. There are free ebooks. There's free downloads. There's free YouTube stuff. Podcasts are free. All of it. You guys, there's no excuse why you aren't growing as a business owner, as a leader, as a entrepreneur, as a salesperson, as a customer service rep, as a whatever your religion or belief is. Like these are all areas that you can be growing in to be a better you, so that you can pour out to others. Okay, and then the other thing is plugging in. You guys are all sitting here right now, so there's no point in preaching to the choir, because the people that aren't plugging in are not on this call right now. But plugging in is so important, and this is something that I thought of for the people who are going through, I guess it's for all, but the people that are going through change, the people that have a lot on their plate right now. So maybe you're newly homeschooling. Maybe you just got out of college and you just started a brand new job and you're feeling very overwhelmed. Like whatever's going on, when you have a lot on your plate and when you feel the weight of the world on your shoulders, you feel like you don't have time to, 1, do self-development, but 2, to show up. And this can't be further from the truth. You have to make time for these 2 things. And when you do, the weight will start to feel lifted and you're going to feel better and you're going to be able to get more done. It's so simple, you guys. It feels hard. It feels so hard, but it's so, so simple. You have to do these things. And one thing that I thought of when you're not plugging in, when you're not showing up, I don't know about you guys, but I always learn something on these, but I also always get my cup filled. I love being around you guys. I get an energy from being around people, even if it's just Zoom, and I just leave feeling so good and so fired up. And when you aren't getting on these things because you're too busy, because changes, right? Life, right? When you don't get on these, you're isolating yourself. And the more you isolate yourself, the more first of all, you're not going to feel, what's the word? Accountable. You're not going to feel accountable. Sorry if I screamed that. I feel like I said it and people like jumped. And you're not going to feel accountable to yourself or to others because there's no one to look into into their faces, into their eyes and be like, I didn't do my KPIs today. I didn't do anything today. I haven't done anything all month. Like it's easier to look at nobody and, push those things aside because you're isolating yourself. But when you show up here and you hear us saying like, did you do it? Did you do those things? You're going to be like, crap, I should probably message a few more people before I go to bed. So don't isolate yourself from us because you're feeling overwhelmed, guilty, stressed out, whatever. Like you need to be here, you guys. So again, you're here. So the reason I'm saying this is because maybe, just maybe, there's someone sitting on this Zoom that hasn't gotten on in a long time. And they're, for whatever reason, they felt the nudge to jump on. That was for you. That was for you. You have to show up, you guys. And one thing that I'm personally loving right now, I haven't done a great job of sharing these in the team page because it's like a bad time for me. Now I can't even remember if they're at 10 or 11. This little cycle that we're going through right now, Ashley Sinclair, she's an Ambassador Diamond, is doing like a week long, it's called Back to Basics. And basically it's a Zoom every single morning. And 2 weeks ago, or however many weeks ago, Ashley Mayfield did one, and it was a distributor boot camp. And then before that, the corporate did one all about host to post. And I've been getting on them, but I've been doing a terrible job about sharing them with you guys. We all get the email, right? So I'm not going to totally hold myself accountable for being the worst about not sharing with you guys. But get on these. Get on them if you can. And if you miss them, watch the recording, every night. Make that part of your daily routine, is like while you're I don't know, taking a shower or bathing the kids or making dinner or whatever it is, flip that on. I don't even know what that means. Turn that on and listen to it, because you're never going to not hear something that's going to speak to you in these, especially right now. Back to basics. That's what I'm about to talk to you guys about, is the things that you can be doing to get back to basics. So giving yourself grace, taking a look at yourself in the mirror and figuring out where am I going to go from here. Self-development every day, every single day, you guys, asking for a suggestion if you need it, plugging in and not isolating yourself from the group. I need you guys. I need you and you need me. So make sure that you're showing up, and not just plugging into these, but plugging into the Sunday night family call, plugging into the Show Me the Money call, plugging into these amazing corporate trainings that they've been just pouring into us, you guys, like just giving us all the goods. This is totally random, but it just popped into my head. A couple of weeks ago, I randomly went to the It Works corporate YouTube page. And you guys, that thing, I've been around for a while, for 6 years. They haven't always had their act together, but the It Works corporate YouTube page, you guys, holy moly, that thing is jam-packed full of so many amazing trainings. There's so many social media trainings. There's so many. Go look right now. Like you'll lose it, because it's like just full of everything that you need. People say all the time that, they got to the top with nobody. They got to the top with no enroller, no team, whatever. And if you guys have a team, because here we are. But if you didn't, or if you just want extra or you want more, you could go to that YouTube page and know everything that you need to know to be successful in this business, and some, and constantly have somebody pouring into you, because the YouTube page is so full of amazing stuff. So just something to note there. So last couple things that I'm going to say before I pass the mic is really truly getting back to basics. And what that means is steps to success and KPIs. for all of you, I went live in the team page yesterday because I feel like a lot of us hear KPIs, and maybe this is just me, but I hear KPI and I'm like, I don't know what that is. I have no interest in hearing what it is because I don't know what it is. So I'm not going to listen to you anymore. Like I just zone out. If that's you, if you're me, you guys, you got to get into this. KPI is, now I'm going to forget. Somebody put in the chats. I know Stephanie
Key
Biden.
performance indicator.
Key performance. Yes. Okay. I knew that, Michelle. I just forgot for a second. Key performance indicators. And again, those words are like, ew, that's like super businessy. Like, I don't want to hear about that. You guys, it's our 6 list. It's our stinking 6 list that they actually made into 10 things because they include, they like really drill down into like, do a product story. Like, okay, yeah, that's part of our 6 list. We just don't divide it up like that. But go print this out. Go print it out. It's in the team pages, whatever team page you're in. I promise you it's there under files. It's also in eSuite. Every single one of you has an eSuite, no excuses. It's under document library. Put daily task list in the search bar and this will come up. Print it out and start doing it. Like just do it. Just do it. Check it off. Don't lie either. If you didn't do a story today, don't check off that you did a story today to make yourself feel better. That's me. I do that. I don't know. I have issues where I have to check stuff off, but this is for you to stay accountable to yourself. So don't check off that you did something that you didn't do. And then if you have an upline that you can share this with, like I know, I hope she doesn't mind me calling her out, but Erica Meeks, she was like, hey, okay, so we've been doing a thing where we've been working together on our KPIs. And she's like, okay, I haven't enrolled in LC this week. I said, send me your KPIs. And I looked and she had like 3s and 4s. She was checking off 3 to 4 things instead of all the things. And so what I loved is that I was able to look at her checklist and really help her with the things that she needs to be more consistent with so that she can be signing the LCs. I looked, her posts, you guys, if you need good posts, her posts are on point and she never misses a day. They're beautiful. She always includes the income disclosure, like amazing. She check. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Awesome. But like her messaging, she had like a couple of checks. That's not going to cut it. Like if you want, host to post, a couple of checks. If you want to be signing, that's the area that you need to make sure you're getting all the checks in. You know what I mean? So make sure you guys are doing this. I know that the acronym's weird and the real name of it is businessy or whatever. Maybe you guys don't think that like me, but once you print it out, or maybe you don't need a list. I'm just going to say it. Like some of you are like, I don't want to check things off. I don't need a list. Well, you need to have it up here. You need to know what the things are that you need to be doing every single day, and you need to do them. What I love about the tracker is sometimes I tell myself that I did them, or I think I did them, but I actually skimmed over it, or I got distracted, or I had to, wipe a 6 butt for the day. Like, I don't know. And then I didn't actually do the things that I thought I did. I just remember that this is recorded, and that's annoying that that's in this recording now, but I get very distracted, and then I don't do it. And then I wonder why I didn't sign an LC today or yesterday or whatever. You guys, hopefully you're following me. So KPI is so important. And then steps to success. That's our roadmap, you guys. That's how we know our business is moving forward. And this team, we don't just complete our steps to success once, we complete it 2 times and 3 times because we can, because we tell ourselves we can, and because we know we can, and because we know how to, and because we put in the work, and because we're consistent, and because we're rock stars, and because we just can. Okay, so that's all I have for just keeping it basic to get through the hard times. A lot of it is mental, you guys, and that's where the self-development comes into play. And then a lot of it is just actually putting in the dang work. And when you can combine those things, you're going to see your business boom, even during the challenges, even during the hard times. So Rochelle, Ashley, whoever wants to jump in, you can piggyback or add in your own goodies.
Hi guys. Sorry, I always forget to like do a little boomerang of us on these things. And of course, right when you call on me, that's what I was doing. Okay. Anyways, Denzel. And you guys should be doing that too. Like show people that you meet weekly, like show them on your story that you meet with other mamas that do this weekly, because I get a lot of people that are like, oh my gosh, you get training. Like a lot of people that are watching what you're doing don't even know that we like have trainings like this, or that we can do them late at night when our kids are sleeping, or and things like that. They have no idea. So when you just kind of give them a little glimpse of that, that's just a random little tip there. But one of the things that I wanted to piggyback off of what Shelby was saying is that whenever you're going through change or when you feel discouraged, that's actually when you need to be doing more. So a lot of the times we think that like it's so much easier to shut down, right? You're all right, Bubba. It's so much easier to shut down because we're overwhelmed. We're going through these changes and we start to make these excuses in our heads, right? That are like, it's okay because once I get through this, then I can start having a different routine, or I can start doing this, or I can start doing that. But the reality is, actually, we just went to go see our chiropractor a couple of days ago. And he said, you know, what I found in my life, and he gave us some really good parenting advice too, but he said, what I found in my life is that you're always in the hardest part of your life. Always. And he started talking, hold on, he needs another boob. You guys, this kid is like massively cluster feeding. He only does it at like from like 9 to 11. Anyways, okay. So, sorry, I don't want to whip this out and like be on camera. Okay. So my chiropractor was like, you're always in the hardest time of your life. So how are you going to make sure that you're not constantly all of a sudden being in the hardest time of your life where you're looking back going, wow, that was actually an easy part of my life. Like right now could actually be an easy part, which sounds pretty crazy because we're all going through some pretty hard times, right? But one of the things that he was talking about was having a new baby. And he's like, now all three of my kids are older and I'm battling ADHD with them. I'm battling listening issues. I'm battling, you know, depression. I'm battling all of these things with my kids. And I would give anything in the world to go back to when they were that size, because at that time, that was the hardest time. But now I'm in the hardest time of my life, right? And it's going to continue. You're going to continue to have these hard times in your life. And so I think that a lot of us, like I said, it's very easy to make the excuses, and hear me out, you guys. This isn't like me being super red, just saying like, stop making excuses and just do your work. It's, do you want to actually look back and go, I probably could have done more. Like I probably could have done more during that time, but instead I was too busy thinking that the world was ending and everything was really hard on me and all of these things. But again, like Shelby said, if your kids are your why, or bringing your husband home is your why, then you're not going to look at him and be like, I'm sorry, it's just kind of a hard time right now. You know what I mean? You're going to be like, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that I make this work for us, no matter if it's harder. And I actually find that I do better, and maybe this isn't everybody, but I actually find that I do better kind of under pressure, not even under pressure, but like in a time where things are changing. I feel like my business actually does better because I have less time to really make sure that this works. So like right now, I'm up with him twice, maybe 3 times a night. And I'm not just going to sit here. Like, this is me. Okay. I'm dead serious. I don't just sit here and stare at a wall and feed him. I respond to messages, because that's what I need to do. Because I know that when I wake up and I'm taking care of Huntley and I'm getting her breakfast and I'm doing all that stuff, that is not a time for me to do that. And so yes, at 3:30 a.m., I'm responding to messages because that's the time that I have to be awake and do that. And that might mean that I neglect my phone during the day sometimes because I know that I'll have that time to do it. So it's really just a matter of when you can fit things in. It just needs to happen. But getting back to my point of when you're feeling discouraged, don't give in to that, like that negative self-talk that's like, well, nothing's happening. So it's almost like this downward spiral. Instead of giving into that, you need to be doing more. And sometimes that is so hard for us to do, because it's like, how in the world could I possibly do more when I'm so unmotivated, or when I don't feel like I'm good at this, or when I don't feel like this is where all the self-development comes in, right? So you need to make sure that when you start feeling down, you've got to have a plan for yourself. You guys, you can compare it to like any of you that are really into your health or your fitness or like working out or whatever. There's so many days where you don't want to go for that run. There's so many days where you don't want to go to the gym or do that workout, or, you know what I'm saying? But you somehow muster up something. You're like, okay, if I put this playlist on, or if I put my clothes on the floor so that when I get out of bed, I put those clothes on immediately and I know that I'm going to go do it. You know, like what kinds of things can you put into place to set yourself up for success when you start feeling discouraged? Because here's the news flash, you guys, there is not ever going to be a time in your business where you stop feeling discouraged. Okay. Now, I don't mean that you're going to feel discouraged constantly. Okay. That's not a thing. But what I'm saying is, there's not a time like 5 years down the road, you could have something happen where you feel discouraged. 3 months from now, you could have something happen where you feel discouraged. There's not ever going to be a time where it stops. So it's the same thing with like a 9-to-5 job. You know what I mean? Some days you love it, and then other days you're like, I really don't want to get up and go to this job today, right? But what is driving you to that? The paycheck, the time clock, you know what I'm saying? Like you having to be there. So how can you create your own routine of getting yourself out of motivation? And if you guys are note takers, I want you to start taking notes on this specific topic right now, because start brainstorming. What are things that make me happy? What are things that get me motivated? What are things that kind of, you know, when you're like, all of a sudden you're like, I'm going to pay all the bills today, and I'm going to grocery shop, and I'm going to meal prep, and all of a sudden you're doing like all the things in just one day. Okay. Well, what got you to that point? What got you to that point? Did you listen to a podcast? Did you listen to a sermon? Did you go for a walk? Did you play with your kids when you first woke up? Like what got you to that mood, right? Okay, so for me, that is me taking like the longest, hottest shower, playing worship music, or listening to a book in the shower. I feel so refreshed. I feel like a new woman. I feel like I'm not like, what's the word? Rushed with anything. Like I just feel like my day can start off so well. And so I know that if I'm feeling overwhelmed right when I get out of bed, I can literally be like, if I can just have 5 minutes, this isn't even a joke, you guys, if I can just have 5 minutes in the shower of listening to a book, I know that in that 5 minutes, I will find something that will trigger me to go, that's why I'm doing this. That's right. I'm not supposed to be afraid of failure. That's right. I'm not supposed to, whatever, like just one little line that is going to make me feel so much better. That could be a run for you. That could be the gym for you. That could be, like I said, like, what is that for you? Because it's not about being discouraged. It's about how you're going to get out of it. And it's not about never being discouraged. Okay. It's just about figuring out what you need to put in place in order for that to happen. And that's just part of being a business owner, you guys. A lot of the times we think like, man, like our business is just so up and down, and how do I, how does Rochelle or Shelby or whoever you're comparing yourself to, how do they do it every single day? Like, how do they get up and do it? And the answer is, we have systems in place. We have systems in place that when we feel down, I go to Shelby and go, hey, I haven't done anything today. And I don't know why. I don't know what I'm doing. And Shelby knows me well enough to be like, go for a walk or get in the shower and listen to some self-development. Like, do what you need to do, because that's what we do for each other. But here's the kicker, okay? Here's the kicker. You have to do the things that get you motivated, okay? This is the most important part of this, is you can know exactly what's going to get you unmotivated. Drop a 1 right now if I'm talking to you, because when you feel unmotivated, the last thing that you want to do is do the thing to get you motivated. Do you hear what I'm saying? No, I don't want to get in the shower right now. I'm having a shit day. Like, let's just talk about it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to feel better. This sucks. I hate that we're, a ton of my team, you guys, bless your hearts, I've been praying so hard, is dealing with air quality that they can't even go outside or breathe right now. There's still, Caitlin Reeves is still evacuated from her home and doesn't know when she can go back. Like, sorry, I'm like super emotional about it. They are struggling like with real life things, y'all, like things that break my heart, because here I am on the other side of the country with this brand new baby with perfect air. And I had the audacity to say that, that it was humid today. And I was like, why did I say that? Why did I say anything about air quality? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I was just shocked and reminded of like, I can't even imagine what it is like, you know, for my team back home. And so one of the, and I know like California even too, like everything that's going on. Anyways, my point of it is you have to do the things even when you don't feel like doing them. And so what are you going to do? What are you going to do to get yourself out of that? Who do you need to call? Who do you need to talk to? Which baby, you know, your babies, you need to look at them. You need to go talk to them. You need to get yourself pumped up and go, I will never quit on this, even on my hardest day, because those are the days that you're going to sign that customer. I promise you that. Those are the days that you're going to sign that distributor that takes you to that next level. But it has to be a sacrifice. And that's what I think a lot of us don't realize is it's like, it doesn't have to feel good to get yourself motivated. It doesn't have to be like this skip to your loo all the way to the coffee maker. Like, yeah, I'm going to get myself motivated. Like, no, that's not a thing, you guys. It doesn't have to be exciting. Sometimes it's excruciating. So I've been in situations, y'all, through this business where it has been excruciating to even get out of bed. It has been excruciating to want to make a post. But when you do it, you're gonna see the results. And so the results are what are going to, I was talking to Shauna today. Shauna, what did you say? Something that spoke to me so much. You said, when you're doing your self-development, when you're feeling down and you sign somebody, when you put somebody in the system, that is what gets you going again, right? And so it's so true that if you're feeling down and you're not doing anything and that's not your focus, then you're just going to continue to feel down. But if you're feeling down and you get a win, right? We call those big wins because loyal customers and distributors are not small wins, y'all. Those are big wins. Is when you sign that customer. Now that's a big win. Okay. So that's going to get you motivated. Well, how are you going to sign that customer? Well, in order for me to sign that customer, I've got to post. I've got to do my KPIs. I've got to do the things that I need to do. Okay. So let's start there. Let's do those things. And then I sign, and then I'm on fire. Okay. Then the ball gets rolling. That's called momentum. And then all of a sudden the next day, you guys ever notice this? You sign a customer, then all of a sudden the next day, you're like excited to do your KPIs, because you're like, yesterday I just did everything I was supposed to do and I signed one customer. So today I can do that same thing and I can sign another customer. Like, it's all about being consistent though. It's all about being consistent. You can't show up, like Shelby said, you can't show up on the 1st and then not show up until the 15th again and wonder why your paycheck's going down. I think I've said this many, many times before, but this is probably one of like the biggest quote unquote secrets that I feel like is like not talked about enough. In this business, we look at it so much as, I just need to get loyal customers and distributors. I just need to get loyal customers and distributors. And we keep getting in that like, what's the word, like cycle of like, that's all we need to do. And so sometimes it's almost harder, because you ever feel like when you're focusing on something so much that it's almost like harder to grasp because that's the only thing you're focused on. Instead, if you're focused on this business working for you long term, the customers and the distributors actually come to you. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Like, I don't even know how to explain it other than stop looking at it at a day by day or a month by month and start looking at it as a long-term business. And when you do that, you'll notice that things start to become easier for you, because you're not as stressed out or as like, I can't even think of the word right now, you guys, but you're not as like solely focused on just, I have to sign an LC today. It's more like, I'm always going to complete my steps because this is a long-term business. I'm always going to make sure that I sign, at least 6 customers. And you don't even have these thoughts of like, what if I can't get 6 customers in the next 15 days to fast start this person? Well, that shouldn't even be a thought in your mind, because you're 100% going to get 6 customers, because that's completing your steps. And every single month you tell yourself, I'm going to complete my steps every single month. So the negative thoughts can't be there. Like, they can't be there. And as they start, you guys, it's okay that they're there. Okay. It's okay that they're there, that they happen. But as you start to have that happen, you go, no, I always complete my steps. No matter what, I always complete my steps. And when you fully believe that, I'm telling you, if you don't even send a single message that month, you'll still sign your 6 customers. I fully, from the bottom of my heart, believe that. If you actually believe, I always sign my steps. I always sign my steps, that you will, even without sending a message. I promise you, if you fully believe in it, because it's what happens. It's what happens. It's like the law of attraction, right? Stephanie just said, focus on the actions and the enrollments will follow. And it's so true, but you have to be consistent. One of the things that I've noticed in my business, and you guys, most of you know my story, but I think one of the biggest, catastrophes, if you will, in my business was when my little brother went to prison, right? 2 years ago. He's actually about to get out in November. It's so crazy to me that time has flown so fast for me with that. But my point is that was the biggest catastrophe in my business, in my life, all of those things. And I thought I would never make it out of it. And I was a diamond at the time, charted for double, paid as a ruby that month. I was paid as a ruby, you guys. I fell from diamond to ruby because actually it might have even been executive. I don't remember. Anyways, it was December, and I remember seeing like a $500 paycheck as a diamond, right? I had just been a diamond, and I had a choice to make. And that choice, the easier route, the easier choice for me at that time was to go back to work, to put Huntley in daycare, and to have something stable. Okay. That was it. That was the easier choice for me. The harder choice for me was to rebuild everything that I felt like I had just lost and failed on. Right. But here's why. And if you've heard this before, I'm sorry, but some of you are new. So I want to explain this to you, because failing does not mean that you're failing, right? I chose to fail forward in that moment. And what it was for me was it was a moment of, I couldn't give my family what my family needed in that moment. My dad needed $5,000 just to speak to a lawyer. Okay. And I didn't have it. And the feelings that I felt of hopelessness, of making all this money from my phone, and I was able to retire myself, and I was able to do this, and this, and I couldn't even give my dad the money that he needed when he needed it more than anything in this world. He deserved it. He, all these things, like, it was like I couldn't help him. And I thought, I'm never going to take the safe route again. I'm never, ever going to choose the easy way again. And I chose the hard way. And in 2 months' time, we were double diamond. Brian went double diamond as well. We got so many bonuses. And then we also, at less than a year later, promoted to presidential and triple in the same month and got a $50,000 bonus, y'all. We were able to pay for everything that my brother and my dad needed that entire time. And I share this story with you because, I don't know, it was like placed on my heart tonight, because so many of us are feeling so discouraged, or feeling like we've failed, or feeling like we can't get back up again. And I'm here to tell you that it's just your decision. It's just your decision on whether or not you're going to get back up again. So I want you to drop a 2 if you're ready to start over. If you're actually ready to start over tonight and be like, you know what? I'm done taking the easy way out. I'm done, because the easy way out, y'all, sometimes is just saying it didn't work for me. The easy way out is just saying I did everything I was supposed to do, and I tried it for a couple months and it just didn't work for me, right? That's easy peasy. We can just leave and walk away from it. And that would be, we could sleep at night with that, right? But the hard way is going to get you 100% everything you've ever dreamed of. What if I told you that? What if in 2 months' time, you could go from the lowest point in your life to the highest point in your life, but you have no idea what that high point looks like until you absolutely go all in. So there was a lot of twos just dropped just now. So I'm about to start seeing enrollments go through the roof, I think. And I'm about to start seeing KPI charts like filled out double, right? I'm about to start seeing steps to success, because here's the thing, we create the momentum. And it is 100% in our control. And right now, we were on a diamond call today with Stephanie and Joel Dunn, and she said right now is the number one time. You're okay. It's the number one time that we need to be going hard. This is the planting season. This is the planting season right here. And a lot of you maybe are newer and haven't seen the repercussions of what can happen when you go through a Christmas season or a like October. Sorry, I don't even know what time it is. Do I need to shut up? Almost. Sorry, Ash. Okay, I'm almost done. So going through this season, if this is the planting season, think of it this way. Don't think of it as like, oh my gosh, I can't sign a customer right now. Like, what's happening? Like, I don't feel like I'm on fire anymore, blah, blah, blah. As long as you are continuing to have at least 5 to 10 new potentials a day, okay, 5 to 10 new people that you're talking to about your coffee or your business or your products or whatever, 5 to 10 new people a day, as long as you are staying consistent with that. And even if you're not signing, I'm telling you, what is 3 months of work gonna look like on your January paycheck when it is the highest check you've ever seen, because you stayed consistent, because all of those potentials signed up at one time. You guys, I'm not telling you, I'm telling you this because I've been through it, and I've been through it 4 years in a row. Shelby's been through it 5 or 6 years in a row now. Ash has been through it. That it literally shows itself time and time again that when you stay consistent, and even through the planting season, when it feels so hard, it feels so hard, like you can't catch a break because you're like, I'm talking to so many people, but none of them are signing yet. They're all going to sign at once. And honestly, they're probably all going to sign at once when you decide to get your mind right. And when you decide that you're actually going to go all in, like all of those twos that were just dropped, they're probably all going to sign then, because it's not actually them that's holding you back. It's you. It's not the people that aren't signing. It's you. What is holding you back from these people signing? Is it fear of success? Is it fear of failure? What is it? Because once you pinpoint it, you're going to start to realize, holy crap, I could have been signing all these customers. It wasn't them. It wasn't that they didn't have the money. It was because I was sitting here not sure of where I wanted to go. I was sitting here scared of being successful. I was sitting here scared that I couldn't be a leader. I was sitting here scared that what if I make more money with this than I've ever made? Then what if it gets taken away? Like, why are we letting fear control all of that? Right? Because I feel like it's scarier to stay where you're at. Drop a 3 if it's scarier to stay where you're at right now. Okay, that's all I got. Ash, what you got, girl?
I mean, you can just keep going. That was so good. I'm so glad this is recorded, because probably gonna listen to it again tomorrow. And I was looking at the chats. There's a lot happening. But honestly, in the few minutes that I have left, I really just want to add one more thought, because everything that both Shelby and Rochelle said was basically gold. And so the last thing I want to add to the whole, how do we keep ourselves motivated? How do we keep our team motivated? How do we, oh, thanks. And honestly, just speaking from a personal experience going through this, probably in like my second year in the business, is and I know we've all heard this, but you really, really, really cannot have a plan B. You cannot, and I don't even think, like, looking back, I don't think I even realized I had a plan B until, well, I'll tell you the moment I realized it. But what I mean by that is, if you, let's say you have a full-time job and this is your side biz and you're hoping that it does become your full-time job, so that you can quit whatever you're doing now. But deep down, like, okay, so let's say commissions posted and you go and look at the amount and you're like, your immediate reaction is like, oh man, well, that sucks. Good thing I have XYZ. That thought really, if you really think about that, you're basically kind of like pushing it works to the side as if it's not really a real thing. So let me tell you, for me, when I started this, I was on maternity leave. And so, I never really had that moment of, okay, I think I'm ready to quit my full-time job, because I was already on maternity leave and I just never went back. But I remember getting to a point, I was at a really low point in my business. A lot of things were going on. And I thought I was going to quit. And I had that conversation with Shelby, and she was like, okay, so what are you going to do? Like, if you're not going to do it works, like, what are you going to do? Because at this point, I now have 2 little ones, and it's such an obvious question. And I challenge each of you to do this later tonight. It's such an obvious question, but like, really, I hadn't thought about it. It was more of a, well, shoot, this isn't working type thing. Like, I got to figure something else out. But for me personally, I have 2 kids that I want to stay home with, that I want to be able to be there for any type of sporting events, any school activities, any extracurricular activities, that if I'm working a 9 to 5, I can't do that. Like, it's just not an option for me. Especially with my husband's work schedule, like, it just wouldn't. And so when I started thinking about it, I was like, well, crap, like, I got in this business because, yes, the money, like, of course, we're all in this to make money, but really the reason I got in it was so I could be home with my kids, and so that I could be present with them, and I could drive them to school, I could pick them up from school, I could do I could be available, I could volunteer in their classroom. I mean, obviously this is all pre-COVID, but anyways, and so for me, it was like, okay, that yes, that's my why. But I think sometimes we get caught up in the paycheck and hello me every day. Not really, that's dramatic, but I think we sometimes get caught up in the paycheck instead of the actual reasons behind it. And I know that we used to ask this. I mean, I know some of us still do, but when you're talking to a potential distributor and you're finding out, like, okay, so how much money are you looking to make? And they tell you, that's why you want to say, oh, okay, you want an extra $500 a month. Why? Like, what would that $500 do for you? And then that's going to make them think, because sometimes they may not even know. That's just like a number that sounds good to them. But then you ask them why, and they're like, oh, well, so that I can put my daughter in dance, I can pay off this credit card and do blank. Awesome. Okay, so if your daughter's in dance and you're paying off your credit card, what is that extra money going to do now that you don't have a credit card? And then they go even deeper, and oh my gosh, well, maybe I could start a savings account. And, and it just becomes more of, oh, I need $500 a month. And so to wrap this up, because I know it's time to go, but that's something that I feel like we need to remember too, whether we've been in this for however many years, if you're newer, whatever it is, that yes, there is a money amount and there is a dollar amount. That's why we all join. But like, why? Like, what exactly is that money doing for you? What can it do for you? And then that just rolls into the whole, okay, so if you need to make that money, then you're going to need to be motivated. And how do you get motivated? And it's just everything that Shelby and Rachel talked about on this Zoom. And it all just kind of goes together, and it kind of, I love what I think Shelby said it, or no, maybe it was, I don't know, one of you guys said, it made me think of, I think Mark always says to start your day on the offense and not the defense. And that's such a clearer picture for me personally, like to think of that, because anything, if you start your day on the defense, and by that I mean, well, you guys all know what I'm talking about, your whole day can be crap. And then if your personal day is crap, your business day is going to be crap. And so what Rochelle was saying, take the hot shower, go for the run, do whatever it is to get your mind right, so that from that point on, you're playing the offense and you're not the defense. Okay, it's time to go.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, ladies, so much for sharing. That was so good. Tonight's Zoom was incredible. I like soaked it all in. I'm on fire. I'm ready to go. So hopefully you guys got a lot out of this. I promise you right now that I'm first going to stop the recording.